Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where this is actually, a conversation topic I have actually wanted to speak about for a while, but I actually completely forgot about talking about it every single time Animal Crossing's rolled around. But if you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Neopets today. This is not going to be like a recreation of Neopets in Animal Crossing if you're new or anything. This is literally my daily vlog where I just talk about random stuff, and today's topic is Neopets. And you might be like, hey dear darling, you've brought up Neopets randomly like every 70 episodes or so. Why are you talking about it specifically now? Well, dear viewer, dearling viewer, we'll get onto that in a second. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, 6:11 PM on Wednesday, July 26, 2023. Basically, it was actually announced, it's actually been a while now. I think it's like 2 weeks ago or something. Neopets, I don't even know which company owns Neopets now, announced it was like, whoa, Neopets is undergoing a revitalization. And you might be like, hey dear darling, how did you know that? And I'm like, I'm still subscribed to the Neopets subreddit, because I like Neopets, It's nostalgic, is probably how I describe it most. I played a lot of it when I was younger, like as early as like 3 years old, and you might be like, isn't that too young to be playing Neopets? Yeah, probably, but whatever. I've played Neopets from a very young age, not continuously, obviously, but basically my interaction near Neopets is played it from a very young age, from about like 3 to 5. Did I have any idea what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Picked it back up like around like 10, I'm gonna guess to 11, and then like dropped it again until it randomly got like I randomly went back to it. Well, I'm going to guess I was like 13. Actually, I can probably get my Neopets account right now. I can see my current one and see how old it is. My profile. Is this my profile? No, hold on. How do I just see me? Like my account. Is this it? 11 years. So this one started playing in 2012. So that would have made me 15. Okay, so around GCSE. No, 14 actually. I wouldn't be 15 yet. So pre-GCSE, I think. Wait, what year is GCSE? I don't know. Anyway. Basically, my mid-teens was like, I'm going to go back to it. I did have many accounts of Neopets, unsurprisingly, throughout the years. But this is my most recent one, and it's the only one I like really... it's one I've kind of invested in, because I actually started playing it at an age where I had some semblance of an idea of what was going on. But I do still have like my old Neopet accounts. Well, okay, not the ones when I was 3 or something. I probably like gone, I'm going to be honest. But I do... I think I still remember the one I had from when I was like late primary school time. But yeah, basically long and short is that I've been using this Neopets account, and like every, I would say 3 years or so, which is not, I guess 3 times maybe, I would check back in with it being like, hey, what's new, what's going on, what's popping, because for when I was like at 14 to like 15, 16 or something, I actually did get back into it a reasonable amount. I actually, as I said, I kind of knew what I was doing now because I was a teenager, not like a child who had no semblance of what's going on. So there'd be things like, I knew about the stock market, I knew about Food Club, you have no idea what I'm talking about if you've never played Neopets. Okay, maybe I should start at the beginning, before we get onto anecdotes about Neopets. What is Neopets? Okay, so Neopets is basically this online website which started, I'm going to guess in the 2000s, I'm not really sure. I can't exactly remember. Maybe it was pre-2000s. I'm not really sure, but basically it's a website of a bygone era where you would have virtual pets which you look after, kind of like an online Tamagotchi is perhaps how I describe it. Excuse me. Yeah, like an online Tamagotchi. You would go onto the website, you would have your pets, you could play games to earn a in-game currency, and you'd spend the in-game currency in the store, the shops in-game, to buy, like food for your pets, clothing for your pets, or your house, or things like that. And it's basically also like a social forum at the same time. So yeah, and it's got these sort of things. And Neopets, of course, has like a very early 2000s art style. Has a ridiculous amount of assets, and back in the day, a lot of games. And they used to have like these events which would happen called plots, which are basically like site-wide story events where huge like lore things took place and everyone could participate. And it was something which was meant to be solved by the collaborative efforts of the entire community rather than one person, which I know I've touched on before because they're very exciting. But that's basically it. It's basically like like It feels weird, but I guess it's kind of like a gamified social, not gamified social network, but game plus social network sort of thing. You know, sort of like if you took Facebook now, but focused on the game side rather than the social network side, and not probably doesn't steal all your data compared to Facebook, but probably also doesn't have the best security, I would imagine. Anyway, that's it. It's very much a bygone era. You've probably heard of it if you were alive in the early 2000s to 2010s, and maybe you've seen it. You've never heard of it if you're born past then. I don't really know, to be honest. But that's basically it. Think of it like, actually, now I think about it, Tamagotchi was not a good description, because Tamagotchi is also something from the 90s and 2000s. It's basically an online pet simulator, how I was going to describe it. It's not really a simulator, but yeah, that's basically it. And it's kind of like got social, like forum elements to it as well. Oh, this is Phoebe's. I always get this wrong. I always think it's like Lily's or Fauna's, but it's Phoebe's. But yeah, that's basically it. And it was super popular back in the day, and it's been through a lot of changes of ownership. And there's actually a really good video about it called like Down a Rabbit Hole for Neopets. You can watch that if you want. But the TLDR was like, it was bought by like Scientologists or something for a while, and the Neopets advertising was really weird, where instead of having banner adverts like on the website and that, they would have built-in like sponsorships, where it's like, oh, you could, I don't know, instead of seeing like an advert for like, I don't know, Next or something, on the side of a site, you would be like, oh, you can go to the shopping district, and you go to the food shop, the clothing shop, or you can stop at 7-Eleven and buy yourself a slushie or something like that. So basically the marketing was ingrained inside the actual gamified experience itself, which is, it definitely brings up weird questions about the fact that Neopets itself is a site very much targeted towards young kids. Nowadays, probably not so much. Nowadays, it's probably a mix of like adults reliving their childhood, and kids I don't think are probably playing Neopets, but that's my guess. Yeah, so that's not really here for me to talk about, I suppose. But over the years, it's changed, hands quite a lot, and it's been slowly going to disrepair as it sort of gets aged out of the internet. Namely the fact that everything it used to be on is on Flash, and the people who used to manage it before were not very good, and basically never listened to the community, and then like a load of changes happened, but still somehow Neopets kept its very core audience who stuck by it the entire time and still stuck by it. But recently, in the past couple of weeks or so, Neopets is under new management. I don't remember who the management is, and they were like, hey, Neopets, it's getting its second chance. We're giving it a breath of life. We're bringing it back, baby. And of course, everyone, who has seen this about 8 different times, I suppose, since in Neopets' lifespan is like, all right, okay. But apparently, they're actually doing a genuinely like good job. Like they're actually advertising it like everywhere. 2, things are actually being brought back. Like there's this big thing, as I said, all the site was basically on Flash, Adobe Flash, which has been antiquated because of security vulnerabilities, essentially. And there was a big push for ages with a previous company to be like, hey, can you update things to HTML? And they were like, sure, and then they didn't. So basically, none of the games were playable. Apparently recently, from what I'm checking on the subreddit, it's like, oh, they actually have brought back like a huge amount of games. They've adapted a load of games from Flash to HTML. It's not perfect by any means, but it's so much better than it was before. And it's like, basically the general consensus I'm getting from like following the social posts, I think, about this is people just going like, wow, it looks like they're actually kind of serious about this, which is cool. I think like Neopets, I don't think it's got like a great gap in the market, to be perfectly honest. I don't think the demand for virtual pets is that high. If they wanted to do this, I'm going to be honest, they should have done this during the pandemic. That would have been probably peak opportunity to bring back Neopets. But, that was under different management at the time, so what can I really say? Except for that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, but basically slowly bringing it back by revamping things. They made announcements where like they're bringing back plots, the site-wide community events essentially, which is very exciting. What else is happening? Sorry, have a sip of water. There's probably some other stuff happening, but that's all I can remember off the top of my head. Oh yeah, there was also some controversy about the person who like originally started Neopets. The 2 who originally started it had, I don't know, like have turned against the community or something. I don't really follow drama, so you're gonna have to look into that yourself. If you love drama, then I don't know, you can go seek it out. I'm just kind of more excited about Neopets is coming back because I do like Neopets. You know, I think it's, as I often say, my favorite type of games are ones which have a strong sense of long overtime progression. You know, things where I can check in a little bit every single day, do my daily rounds or whatever, and then be hands off, but there's still enough content for me to be okay, now today I feel like kind of investing more time into this. I can spend an hour or two playing it. This is, I mean, that's why I talk about it all the time. That's why the gacha game models, I don't like the monetization system at all, nor its predatory nature. But the model of how the gameplay updates work really appeals to me, because it's just hey, I can do these small update. I can play a small amount every single day, and then some days I can invest more time into it if I really want to, but other days I don't need to, but I still make incremental progress throughout the entire thing. That's kind of what it's all based around. That's what appeals to me. And if anything, it'd be a lot better if I wasn't so invested in that sort of gameplay loop. But yeah, they've got load of these sort of advertisements. Apparently this is something from LinkedIn. I'm just looking at the top posts on Reddit for the last month or so. I don't know what on earth is going on. A new era for Neopets. It was only 9 days ago. Okay, so yeah, even less than 2 weeks ago. So it's now an independent company called World of Neopia, no longer managed by Jumpstart, who was the previous terrible owners, as I understand it. And also, yeah, they tease some return of really popular things. Key Quest, which was basically this RPG, antiquated RPG, to be fair. It's very much in the sort of, I'm not sure if mud style is really the right word, because mud is just user interface, isn't it? Just text based, but it's top down sort of grid based RPG. You click a button, it reloads the whole entire web page to move and that sort of thing. And Habitarium, which is basically, it's like an aquarium simulator. Well, I guess a Habitarium simulator probably makes the most sense as a descriptor, doesn't it? Where you look after these little creatures and it gets you a load of Neopets. And those are really, really popular things back in the day. So the fact they're coming back, it's been asked for by the community for probably years now. And yes, years, because the game has been out that long. Okay, seashells or water flowers. We should buy a tree, so then we can do the tree thing as well. So it's crazy, because Neopets definitely needs some love. I love Neopets from when I was young. I have so many great memories, I suppose, of playing it, but it has a lot of problems with it. I'm not really sure if I'm getting back into it, but I'm slowly checking out the site, now and then, ever since the update. Spin Trudies, surprise, that sort of thing, I'm buying some stocks here and there, collecting my interest, but the game definitely has problems right now. One problem is a massive inflation, and you might be inflation? Yeah, Neopets has an economy. It's got inflation and exchange rates. It's got surprisingly deep for a kid's game, I suppose, at the end of the day. It's got inflations, it's got stocks, it's got volatile markets and that sort of thing. You bargain on everything you purchase. And basically the financial market of it is crazy at the moment, because things are getting super inflated all the time, which is a little bit difficult, I think, to break into. But yeah. Obviously, I guess the people who are doing Neopets, I don't know if it's a passion project or if it's something where they actually see potential to make money from this sort of thing. Microtransactions are a thing now, because a big part of Neopets is customization. So they sell these loot boxes essentially to get customizations, but also you can buy the customizations, I think, in the shop. I'm not an expert in the customizations, so I don't really know, but I'm not gonna lie, that's basically, these in-app purchase styles is kind of a way that games go now for monetization, free to play, pay to, I don't know, I'm not really sure if endorse is the right word, endorse to get better things, which is, I don't know, I guess as things go, is not the worst model, I suppose, for making money, because it means that if you don't have money and you still want to play the game, you can still get the base game experience, but then also, it's, very much trying to capitalize on FOMO and that sort of thing, right? So it's sort of there's no perfect system in the end, is there? But this probably isn't perfect, but it's better than, just only loot boxes or, pay to win, I guess. But that's a low bar to cross. So anyway, we're not talking about that. That's stuff I've covered in previous episodes. Now let's talk about Neopets. You might be like, hey dear darling, what's your favourite Neopet? and I would say it's Visafara. And you might be like, what's your favourite paintbrush? I don't really know actually off the top of my head, but Christmas Safari is my favourite, and I do own Christmas Safari. I actually have quite a few painted pets and a reasonable amount of Neo points. But yeah, I used to play a lot when I was younger. It was introduced to me, I think, probably by my sister, who is older than me. So, you know, she played, and me being, you know, younger sibling, I was like, I want to play too. And then I did play too, and I had no idea what's going on. I do remember my old account was something like, I like Kikos, and I like Jubs, and I like Akaras, all separated by underscores to really get that early 2000s vibes. Except for I remember the Akara ones is I spelled Akaras wrong because I didn't know what an Akara, like, how to spell it properly, because I was like 3. So I think I spelled it like Araka or something like that. I probably spelled Kiko and Jub wrong, I don't know as well. So yeah, very sort of like early 2000s sort of naming system, as you can tell. But yeah, we played a decent amount. I have no idea what I did most of the time, to be perfectly honest. I was pretty terrible at probably everything in the game. But then, you know, stopped for a while, came back like with a new account in late primary school time, or like introduced my friends to it, because we were like playing these sort of things around that time. Like we play it with my friends. Maybe not late primary school. Maybe this is continuing on as I got into like mid primary school. Primary school is elementary school, by the way, if you're American. Yeah, we played it like a little bit, introduced my friends to it, but very much during primary school, Club Penguin was kind of our go-to online web service, I suppose, at the time. Neopets kind of fell by the wayside. So it wasn't until like mid GCSEs, or like early mid-teens, I sort of like got back into Neopets. Actually, there was a time like very early teens, I got back into Neopets again. I had an account, which I should try and Google if it, not Google, but like search if it still exists. I don't know how you search things. I guess I could just do this, because I remember it. I'm not going to tell you what the username is. Oh, here we go, 16 years, so 2007, so that would have made me 10. But the background is broken because it uses TinyPic, which is very funny. But I remember I played it for a little bit because there was an event where you had to play the games. You had to be like a game master. I participated in Outdoor Cup 2, apparently. So it's like very early on. I didn't play it all that much, but whatever. I have no idea what this is. Reading it feels very cringe. So I'm going to go quickly off of that as I go back to my current account, which I of course made around mid-teens. This is a thing, you know, I think I can't remember. I've been sparked by my sister again, being like, oh, you know, just like nostalgic, really going back to Neopets, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start now. And I introduced my friends at the time. I don't know why I said at the time, they're still my friends. My secondary school friends to it, because they'd never played before. We played it for like a few months or something, but I continued to play it for like a year or a bit, and then I stopped. And basically I just ended up going back to Neopets every once in a while, just to play it for like a couple of weeks or something, because it's nostalgic, it's comfortable, you know. It brings me back to simpler times in a way, but also I guess it's a sign of like how far things have come, you know, how I see things under a different lens. Before these games, which are like, wow, these are so amazing, I love playing these all the time, I play them now and being like, I could do without it, I'm gonna make my money a different way. Now how I can actually, you know, efficiently make Neo points in it now, rather than being like, whoa, a paintbrush, that's so expensive. Now I'm like, oh, you know, 1 million, I guess I could afford that. It's just amusing, you know. And it's not, and the good thing is, of course, there's no pressure to really actually, you know, commit to spending a lot of time with it. I just be like, oh, you know, I want to play it for like 1 week, that's fine, you know. I leave, and then no harm, no foul in the end, I suppose, apart from Neopets starving, which is, you know, if you've got a Neopets account, feed your Neopets. At least put them in the hotel so they have like access to food. Neopets certainly one of the most hardiest animals, I suppose, creatures, perhaps is a better word, in existence, of how much, how long we can go without food. But yeah, so every so often I go back to playing Neopets in a while, and with this account, you know, I've actually made like pretty good progress. I've actually done a lot of stuff. Apparently I've got 147 secret avatars. I've got like 10 million, like I actually hit the maximum interest rate in the bank, which is, you know, a rarity for me. Apparently I partook, I'm a level 5 games master, partook in Outdoor Cup 13, so that's crazy. I partook in the second one. I'm pretty sure I partook in the first Outdoor Cup as well, but it was probably on a different account. And I partook in the 13th one, and that's it. I got some game trophies, like the Grand Theft Umagene Champion, 3rd place at Bad New, 2nd place at Nelly Conundrum. I miss Lenny Conundrum. Okay, if they're revamping Neopets, please bring back Lenny Conundrum. I loved Lenny Conundrum so much, even though I was so bad at it. If I played Nova Defender, I remember I loved playing Nova Defender as well. Some reason random. But I actually have like some trophies. I actually have like customized pets. You might be like, what do I have? I've got a Christmas Zafara. I've got a Candy Cougar. I've got a Fairy Hissy. I've got a Maraquin Ixie. And I've got a Stealthy Drake. Actually, I was planning, because I've seen they've got new paintbrushes since I've last played. I'm probably going to plan to turn that Stealthy Drake into a Valentine Drake, because I was like, Valentine Drake is so cute. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before, like how some of my characters like originated from these Neopet characters as well. So that's, I suppose, doubly why it's nostalgic in their own regard. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I like to be reasonably optimistic. I hope this new company actually has good plans for Neopets and actually has a way to bring it back. Even if I don't think Neopets needs to go back to like the glory days of like millions of people playing it, but like to actually have a small dedicated community around it would be pretty cool, I think. It's also got the benefit of the fact it's a browser game. It's not really something which needs to get like engine updates or anything like that, right? It has theoretical longevity as long as the browsers still exist. Excuse me, and it's something where you can just keep on updating, or whatever, I don't know. It's just nostalgic, okay? It's completely nostalgia, and you know how much I love my nostalgia. So, Neopets, it's maybe coming back, I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't age poorly. I guess we'll find out in like a few months or so, but apparently they are going pretty hard with the pushing of it, which is, I guess, kind of cool to see. I don't know how long it'll stay around, so, you know, maybe I could remind you of those old nostalgic memories. Anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Day Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. I have so many more Neopets anecdotes, which maybe I should talk about again someday. Not now, though.